For some reason, my introduction camera is not working anymore. Oh well. Hello, it is I, Visceral Serenity, aka Steven. I streamed a little bit last night, more or less just to re-stress test my system, and that's kind of what I'm doing today. I kind of wanted to start streaming like a half hour ago, but I kept on having issues with my Elgato capture card outputting audio. Like clearly it does video just fine. What you're seeing here is my MacBook Air being output through the capture card into my Windows computer that has OBS on it, but the audio isn't doing anything. So, oh well, I guess. And one of the specific things I wanted to do was audio related in the way of showing off Mac OS VoiceOver. I have done this in past streams, and it has worked. So I'm gonna say I just need to troubleshoot my card a little bit more. I really hope I don't need to get a new one. But for now, what I'm gonna do is I have my microphone pulled up real close to everything. I'm trying to basically put it as close to myself and the computer as possible, which my computer is literally just right here for me. And I'm just gonna have Mac OS voiceover blasting over the speakers, and that should be loud enough to get the idea across. Plus, it narrates what it's doing anyway, so that should be fine. But one of the things I specifically wanted to do was to return to the Monster Hunter website and just see what happens when I do screen reader accessibility. I also have my Kindle Fire tablet hooked up today, and I'm gonna just go through it with that. I figured I went through it with an Android phone yesterday. I'll go through it with the cheap tablet today. If I do decide to stream for a bit longer, there is another Capcom site I'm actually pretty interested in called Capcom ID. I have not been familiar with that site up to this point, so I might just start taking a look at it later if I feel like it. Otherwise, I don't know. I'm probably going to be streaming for a little bit less tonight than usual. Even considering the previous stream was pretty short. I'm kind of thinking of this stream as the part 2 to that to kind of make up for that, so I have a full length stream. And after I finish troubleshooting everything and making the stream work the way I want through and through without having to have an hour or two troubleshooting prior to pressing the start streaming button, maybe then I'll be a bit more regular with streaming. But for now, here I am on my MacBook, and I am going to once again return to the Monster Hunter Wilds website. And here we have that 8 megabyte video. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. I wanted to talk about the built-in screen reader for Mac OS, which I always like using with every site just to see that everything is good, everything works well, that there's no massive issues. And the way that I have that set to turn on is I hold down Command and I press F5.
VoiceOver on application. Monster Hunter Wilds Capcom. Google Chrome. Window. Monster Hunter Wilds Capcom. Selected. Tab. Group. You are currently on a selected new tab. Search tab. Toolbar. Bookmark. Monster Hunter Wilds Capcom. Web content. In Monster Hunter Wilds Capcom. Web content. Banner. You are currently on a banner inside of web content.
Right. So the way that most screen readers will work, whether it be VoiceOver, whether it be NVDA, I believe JAWS, although I've never had the opportunity to use that one, is they'll just kind of read off everything until you interact with the screen reader. In this case, I made it focus on the website. The primary way that I will interact with the screen reader is by pressing the VO button, which I have mapped to Control and Option. Although in Mac OS, you do have some customizability of what exactly that is. In my case, it is Control and Option, where I hold that down, and then I can go either left or right.
English end of banner. English end main. Monster Hunter image main. End of banner. English us banner.
And kind
You
of
are
go
currently on a
across.
banner inside of web content. To exit this web area, press Control, Option, Shift, up arrow.
And then kind of have access to it then. And as it mentioned, I can also hold down Shift along with the VO keys to kind of go either up or down. Or perhaps a better way to explain it is to go like inside of a element container.
English in English us list box pop up collapse button English us English us English us English us English us.
So
You are
here
currently
I'm
on a selectable text inside of a button
in English US, and I can press spacebar to essentially click on it.
English us menu item group 1 of 15. English U English 8 English us menu item group 1 of
Or
15.
escape to close
English
it.
us list box pop up collapse button banner.
And I'm going to
You
go
are
one
currently on a
up
button to display a list of options. Press Control Option Space
so that I'm no longer inside there.
banner. You are currently on a banner main Monster Hunter image. You are wild image. You are currently logo underscore C to get missing image descriptions. Open the content logo underscore D. Monster Hunter wild image. You available now. You are currently on a selectable tag. Monster Hunt logo wild. Monster Hunt main. Monster Hunter image. You are currently on a logo underscore Monster Hunter wild image. You
Not
are
sure.
currently on an image. To begin available now.
Not
You are
sure
currently on
why
a
it
selectable text.
got stuck on the image so much. Also, I do slightly apologize. The way that I normally have this set up is that the capture card will capture the audio from the MacBook, which would include VoiceOver. And I actually have ducking set up so I can talk over VoiceOver. With the method I had to rely on today, that does not work as well. So I'm just kind of waiting for VoiceOver to talk and then I talk, which means I might be moving a little bit slower. If I can get this technical issue worked out, navigating through the screen readers will be much faster.
List 3 items. You are currently in a list. PS5 unlabeled image 1 of 3. PS5 unlabeled image. You are currently on an unlabeled image. PS5 unlabeled image. You are currently on an unlabeled image. To begin interacting with the contents of this image, press Control, Option, Shift, down arrow. No visible title to interact. Main. You are current. End up. Important notice. Turn. Important note. Definition.
I went a bit
End
too
of.
far.
Main. Scroll. Scroll. Image. Link. End of list. End of list. You are. End of list. Link. Link. Image. Instagram. You are currently on a link. Unlabeled image. Unlabeled image. X. 2 of 4.
I am
You are
noticing a
currently
lot
on
of
an unlabeled
unlabeled
image. To
images.
click
That
this
makes me
link,
wonder
press
if they're
Control,
using alt
Option,
text
A.
everywhere they should.
Link. Image. Facebook. 1 of 4. List 4. List 1. List 1 item. Fall. End of list. Link. Product. Link. Sit. Link. 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 List 6. Link. YouTube play. Image. 7th trailer. 800. Unlabeled image. Link. End of list. Steam. Image. You are currently on an image. Boxes. Image. 2 of 3. PS5. Unlabeled image. 1 of 3.
Because I
You are
wanted to
currently on an
comment.
unlabeled PS5. Unlabeled image. You are currently on an unlabeled image. To begin interacting with the contents of this image, press Control, Option, Shift, down arrow.
That the screen reader doesn't seem to know the difference between the PS5 image and the image right below it that indicates that it's PS5 Pro Enhanced. And I feel like that's something you could easily do with alt text. I'm going to quickly disable VoiceOver.
VoiceOver off.
Just because I want to take a quick look at that. Otherwise, there may be another explanation. It does have alt text, but it just says PS5. Okay, so there is alt text, but the alt text isn't as descriptive as I probably would have made it. And granted, there are no hard and strict rules of what alt text must describe, so this isn't strictly something that they have done wrong. But what I would have done is maybe say PS5 logo on this top one, and on the bottom one, perhaps PS5 Pro Enhanced. They are using alt text though, and I'm sure for the other ones they must be as well. Yep. Okay, so they are consistently using alt text and images. That's a very common issue I come across on websites of all shapes and sizes. Um, it looks like in this case there is always alt text, but sometimes it's questionable what the alt text is. Like for an example, the alt text here literally is just 800. Um, I would have made the alt text say the same thing as the text in the image, which is surpasses 8 million units sold worldwide. I feel like alt text 800 doesn't communicate that at all. I certainly wouldn't have understood it to be that. But it's better than not having alt text, because if there wasn't alt text, like if it was alt text blank, the screen reader would simply skip it as if it were a decoration essentially, or a background, which in many cases is what you want. And from what I recall from yesterday, there is a case where I do believe that is going to be the situation of what we'll want here. Um, in this situation, at least there is alt text, which means a screen reader will see it. I don't know why the alt text is just the number 800. All right, I'm going to turn VoiceOver back on. So Command F5.
VoiceOver on application. Monster Hunter World Scatcom. Google Chrome. Window. Monster Hunter World Scatcom. Selected. Tab. Group. You are currently on a selected tab. Group. Inside of a group. To exit this group, press Control, Option, Shift. Monster Hunter World Scatcom. Web content. Monster Hunter World Scatcom. Web content. Banner. You are currently on a banner. In English us. List. End of banner. Main. You are currently on a main. Inside of web content. Monster Hunter. Wild. Logo underscore C to get missed. Logo underscore D. On late. Monster Hunter Wild. Image. Available now. You are currently in a list. PS5. PS5. Boxes. Image. Team. Image. Boxes. Image. 2 of 3. You are currently on an image. To begin interacting with the contents of this
even
image, press
for
Control, Option, Shift, down arrow.
The alt text that's there, the screen reader does get a bit confused. Like Xbox, it would have been better to say Xbox Series XS, and then that's what the screen reader would have said.
Steam image. End of list. Link. Purchase. You are currently on a link. To click this link, press Control, Option, Paste. 800. Unlabeled image. You are currently on an unlabeled image. To begin interacting with the contents of this image, press 7th trailer. You are currently on a selectable text. YouTube play image. You are currently on an image. To begin interacting with the contents of this image, press Control, Option, Shift, YouTube play image. You are currently on an image. Link. Media. You are currently on a link. To click this link, YouTube play image. You are currently on an image. To begin interacting with the contents of this image, press Control,
curious.
Option, Shift,
what
down
does
arrow.
happen if I do this? If I press space to essentially click on this? Oh, that just literally rolled down the page.
7th trailer. You are YouTube play image. Main. You are Monster Hunter image. Available main. List end link end of list. List one end of important definition list two end of scroll image link end of list end of list end of list end of list. You are currently on a list. End of list. Link image Instagram link unlabeled list one item. Follow us. End of list. Link list six item link you seventh trailer. You are currently on a selectable tag. 800 link purchase 800 unlabeled seventh trailer. YouTube play image. You are currently on an image. To begin YouTube play image. You are currently on an image. To begin interact link media. You are currently on Monster Hunter World Scat Media Monster Hunter World Scatcom web content. You are currently on a web
All right, that
content
brought me to
inside of a
another
group.
page.
To enter the web area, press Control Option Shift down arrow to exit this group. Media Monster Hunter World Scatcom web content.
All right, and this actually does bring me to another area where I was curious. Earlier, I was talking about how I was skeptical of the design decision of how they chose to render their titles on desktop, where like how it says media, and then there's also media in the background. The way that they do that is literally by rendering the HTML twice, where there's a class labeling one of them as being the background. I thought this could have been a bug at first. I currently believe this is in fact intended. And one of the things I was curious about was what was going to happen upon reaching one of these menus. So as long as I'm here right now, I guess I'm just going to find out. Let's see what's going to happen.
Media Monster Hunter World Scat Media Monster Hunter World Scatcom web content banner English us English end of banner heading level 1 visited heading level 2 2 items media heading level 3 promote heading level 2 2 items media level 1 media level 1. You are currently on a heading level 2 inside of web content. To exit this web area, press Control Option Shift up arrow.
Yeah, as I thought, it gets a little bit confused and says media twice. And because it doesn't directly target the H tag, it targets the container, or rather, the H tag is a container, and it doesn't target anything in particular in the container until I go inside, which I can do with the VO option, which is control option, holding down shift and then down.
In heading level 2, 2 items, media, level 1. And in text, media. Out of text. Out of heading, in text. Out of text. Media, level 1, media, level 1. Media, level 1, media. Out of heading level 2, 2 items, heading level 1. Heading level 2, 2 items. Media, level 1, media, level 1. You are currently on a heading level 2 inside of web content. To exit this web area, press Control Option Shift up arrow.
Yeah, that whole structure is confusing. The way I would fix this personally is by not having the background part, but if that must be the case, I'm going to quickly disable voiceover.
VoiceOver off.
The way I would personally go about adjusting this to potentially make this a much nicer experience for screen reader users. And I do apologize for the slowness. The Mac I'm using is not super powerful. I am going to be buying another MacBook and utilizing that for accessibility overviews. But I figured I could give this MacBook one last try, so it's just going to be a bit slow. But yeah, so I'm waiting for it to catch up enough because this poor computer with the Core i5 and 16 gigabytes of RAM rendering this website is basically impossible. And now that my fan is cooled down, I'm going to try once again to target an element. So right, so as I was saying, so the H2 kind of acts as a container. And when I was kind of like digging in deeper by doing VO shift down, that was clicking on these. I would personally with the assumption that this should be kept, my best recommendation is simply delete the background media. But if that is not an option, forgive me if my syntax is wrong. I believe this is going to be the correct syntax. And this should work better, maybe, because then it'll only read one of them. Let me try turning that on again. It might take a second for VoiceOver to turn on again. My computer is magnificently struggling on this website. Oh wait, it was Command F5. Sorry, my bad. I forgot the command.
VoiceOver on application. Media Monster Hunter Wildskatcom. Banner. Banner. Heading level 2. Media. You are currently on a heading level 3. Heading level 2. Media.
Yeah, that's way better.
On a heading level 1. Visited. Link. Image. Monster Hunter Wilds. You are currently on a heading level 1. Inside of web content. To exit this web area, press Control, Option, Shift, up arrow.
When we reach media, instead of it being some container where it says media twice and is all confusing for screen reader users, having the background media essentially be a design by doing hiding it with an ARIA label.
Heading level 2, media. You are currently on a heading level 2, inside of web content. To exit this web area, press Control, Option, Shift, up arrow.
It might still be a little bit confusing that it's a web area. There might be some different markup to make that not be the case for screen readers, but at least now it's only saying media once. And I believe that should be the pattern followed for all of these titles, is that the background part is just design, and that's how it should be treated. It's basically a part of the background image. It's no more relevant for a screen reader user than the literal background image would be in this situation. So what you want the screen reader to see is the big yellow media that's much more visible and much more present, and to hide the background media from screen readers. And that's going to make that more accessible and much easier to understand for users of screen readers on this website. That would definitely be a recommendation of mine. With that said, let's move on a little bit further down this page, as long as we're here.
Heading level 3, promotional trailers. List 10 items. Link. Proof of a hero trailer YouTube play number. Link. 7th trailer YouTube play 7th trailer. Link. Proof of a hero trailer YouTube play number.
All right, so it says this is a link. What's going to happen when I click it? Oh, it literally just
Monster
goes.
Hunter Wild. Proof of a hero trailer. YouTube.
Website web just content goes to a YouTube video.
Visited. Link. Proof of a hero trailer YouTube play number. List 10 items. You are currently on
is
a
that
link.
What they all
to
do?
Click
Like
this
even
link.
if you click them?
Link. 6th trailer YouTube play 6th trailer.
Okay.
Visited. Link. 6th
trailer I was wondering if maybe there was going to be pop-ups. You are currently
on a link. To click this link, press Control, Option, Case.
Apparently that is not what they decided to do here, which is perfectly fine. The only reason I'm closing them so fast is I don't want to infringe on copyright by playing a trailer and having, like, you know, trailer music and stuff going on. But yes, these are perfectly fine and interactable with a screen reader.
Link.
I think
4th trailer,
fine.
YouTube play 4th trailer. 5. Link. Official link. End of list. You are currently on a list. Inside heading level 3. Show list 2 items. You are currently up. Link. 2020. End of.
All right, I'm actually going to go back up.
Visited. Link. 6th trailer. Link. Visit. Heading. End of. Banner. English. Visited. Link. Heading level 2. English us. List box pop-up collab. Button. Banner. You are currently on a button. To display a list of options, press Control, Option, Case.
Since one thing I still haven't figured out that I would like to do is how to properly access the pop-out menu.
End of banner. You are heading level 1. Visited. Link. Image. Monster. Heading level 2. Media. You are
Because I'm
currently
already
on heading level
on
2.
the page
Inside of web
content right now.
Heading level 3. List 10. End of banner. English us. List box pop-up collab. Button. You
And
are
that
currently on
menu's
a
easy
button.
to access.
To display a list of options, press Control.
But that's
Option,
not really
space.
the one I want.
Banner. You are currently on a
Maybe
banner.
if I'm in the
inside of
banner
web content. To English us.
and I
List
go a
box
level
pop-up collab.
deeper.
Button. End of banner. Heading level 1. End of banner. 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 English us. List box pop-up collab. Button. End of banner. You are heading level 1. End of banner. You are currently on a banner inside of web content.
Normally, I'm used to even hamburger menus on desktop sites to be a little easier to access than this. Perhaps this is still user error on my part, but I do find it a little odd that the language menu is super duper easy to access, and it's the hamburger menu that's very difficult to access. And I feel like this is not an issue I come across much on other sites.
Heading left, list 10 items.
Because I stumbled across this page on accident. I did not come by the media page on purpose. I just kind of studied the page as long as I was here. But if I wanted to open this menu, what would I do? Because I'm in the banner.
English us. In. English us. Out of. English us. List box pop-up collab. End of banner. Heading level. End of. English us. List box pop-up collab. Button.
Maybe could I just
button to display a list of options? Press Control Option Case.
Maybe could I just use plain old tab?
Visited link image. Visited link. Proof of a hero trailer YouTube play number. Visited link. Visited link. English us.
That doesn't bode well for keyboard
button,
controls either.
You
Do you have to physically
display
click
a list
that?
of options? Press Control Option Case.
Because that's my concern now. I'm wondering if you literally have to physically click the menu button with your mouse for it to work. Is there a way for me to interact with this either with keyboard or with my screen reader?
End of banner. Heading, list 10,
or maybe it's somewhere really weird in the HTML, and if I go down far enough, I'll eventually get to it.
Hunting, link, campaign, link, end of, end of, all, link, end of, Monster Hunter World Stack, end of, footer, copyright sign Capcom. You are currently on a selectable tag.
That does not appear to be the case. I guess what I'll say purely for a bare minimum accessibility perspective, the menu is in the footer as well. And I can navigate the site that way. But I feel like this is not an issue that I have on other sites, where there would be a mobile menu, even if it's in Hamburger, and to not have it be at least easily accessible. There may perhaps still be something I'm missing.
Referenced link all end of link list footer end of link end of list link visited link online multi.
Let's go to the online multiplayer.
Monster Hunter World Scatcom web content. You are currently on a web content inside of online multiplayer online multiplayer Monster Hunter World Scatcom web banner. English us list end of banner. English us.
Because yeah, I would have assumed that this would just be right past English US.
Press Control Option keyboard brightness writer. VoiceOver off.
I'm going to disable VoiceOver temporarily. And just play around with keyboard only controls, because that's another accessibility thing. Not everybody can use a mouse. For instance, people with carpal tunnel, people who've sustained certain injuries, perhaps. Very many people do utilize websites primarily through just a keyboard and not any ability to use a mouse or a trackpad. And what I'm seeing is I don't think there is any way to access the mobile menu. Because yeah, this is another site. I often like Nintendo websites. Nintendo tends to build really good websites. So functionally, this is the same as a drop down. Oh, I must have ran out of RAM because of the Monster Hunter website. I am going to very temporarily, I'm going to copy that link so I can get back there, but I'm going to close that page so I can save some resources while I test a few things here. Because I want to do a screen reader to test if this isn't user error on my part.
VoiceOver on Chrome. Nintendo official site. Search. All categories. All categories. Clickable menu pop-up. Combo box. Slide 2 of 4. You are currently on a combo box. Link. Support. All categories. All slide 3 of 4. You are currently all categories.
Right. I do remember one issue I had with
slide
this
4
site.
of 4.
With the Nintendo site was
slide 1 of 4.
pausing.
Slide 1 of 4.
Which,
selected. Tab.
Okay.
Group. 1 of 4. Slide 2 of 4. Tab. Group. 2 of 4. You are currently on a tab. Group. 2 of 4. To select this option, press Control. Option. Case. Slide 1. Slide. End. Games. My Nintendo Store. Collab. Link,
yeah,
comma,
you
store.
should just be able.
You are currently on close button. Visited. Link. Games.
To open a drop-down menu and just have it open.
Case.
And when it opens, it should actually focus on the first link.
Link. Play Nintendo. Collab. Link. Nintendo Switch. Close button. You are currently link. Link. End of Navic main. Heading level slider. Make end link. Close. Play Nintendo. Close button. Nintendo Switch. Collab. Link. Play Nintendo. Collab button. You are currently on a button.
So
to click this button, press Control.
Insofar
option,
as navigating menus goes, I don't think I was making a mistake.
VoiceOver off.
Because those menus, these drop-down menus, being a functional equivalent essentially to what this hamburger menu should be doing, function. But as soon as I come back here and I turn VoiceOver back on,
VoiceOver on new tab. Search. Online multiplayer Monster Hunter will in. Online Bing end of banner. Heading level 2. 2 items. Monster heading level end of banner.
Okay,
English,
so I am convinced there is an
collapse,
issue.
Button. You are currently VoiceOver off.
Let's take a look at the code behind this hamburger and see why exactly I cannot access this. Because it doesn't look like this is built in a strange way at all. Except maybe, no, it's in a pretty standard place too. Like you got your logo. Yeah, and here's the menu that my screen reader really likes to attach to, the language select. And then you have your header menu right afterwards. I'm wondering if, because semantically, this is not labeled as being a button. I'm thinking either labeling, Aria labeling it as a button, which I do not remember off the top of my head the exact syntax I would want for that. Yeah, I think Aria button roll is something that might be able to fix this. Right, so I think this is what we would need to essentially fix this menu. Like I didn't quite copy all of that. We want roll button. I'm not sure if the ARIA press is going to make a difference, but I'm pretty sure having roll button. That didn't seem to do much for keyboard navigation. Let's see what happens when we turn the screen reader back on. Oh, and I'm going to close DevTools because that messes with screen readers sometimes.
VoiceOver on Chrome. Online let and English list box toggle button. You are currently on a toggle button.
Okay.
English toggle
button. So that did enough.
You are currently on a toggle button. To
the screen reader
this checkbox. Press Control Option Space.
Does indeed acknowledge that this exists. Does it work?
No action available. Monster Hunter Wilds
it
event
works.
Quest downloadable content official web manual
okay.
Official accounts Facebook X YouTube Instagram newsletter mail group visited link image list 3 items link. You are currently on the link official end of list navigation visited link list 2 items flat link end of list 2 items slash end of list link list 2 slash end of list end of official accounts turn official account end up official list 4 link unlink link end of list link unlink end of link end of list flat list 2 link end of list link list end of list slash list link is end of link list visited link in group visited link image list 3 items link link list 3 items visited link group up online multiplayer bookmark toolbar item palette bookmark online multiplayer Monster Hunter Wilds event visited link image Monster Hunter Wild voiceover off. Okay, so that did work for entering the menu. Once in the menu, everything inside of here is perfectly fine. I have no issues whatsoever. But I have failed to be able to access the X button in order to close the menu. So I'm going to once again select target, see what's going on here. Yeah, and I wonder, this is a very basic solution and maybe not the best way, just because it's generic. There might be something more specific that would be better for accessibility. Um, just so the screen reader will say main menu when you go over that. Because yeah, I think that is the core issue here, is that this is a button, but semantically it's not. The way you're supposed to interact with it is as if it's a button, except that it's not a button. And that brings up a lot of accessibility issues unless you add lots and lots of additional code to make it be seen as a button. I believe in terms of keyboard layout, if I'm remembering off the top of my head correctly, one more thing we can add is a tab index. Oop. No, that did not seem to do the thing. Let's see what actually I'm going to check the MDN docs before I do Stack Overflow.
Um, because I would really ideally like this to be fully accessible through keyboard too, without having to physically click on it. Alternatively, there may be a JavaScript method to do that. Right, yeah, that's what I thought, is that you're only supposed to use 0 and -1 for tab index and not anything beyond that. So even if that would work, or at least according to the MDN, that would not be the ideal way to do that. Um, hmm. It is a little bit odd that adding the button roll did fix the issue prior to us interacting with it, but now that we're in the menu, we're having a hard time getting back. I'm going to turn on VoiceOver again and see that that wasn't just user error. Maybe it'll just work now. Who knows?
VoiceOver on application. Visited. Navigation. End of list. Link. Link. Down. Link. List 3 item. Visited. Link. Image. Visited. Link. Visited. 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 Link. Image. Monster Hunter Wild. Visited. Link. Image. Monster Hunter Wild. Auto. Online multiplayer Monster Hunter Wilds Capcom. Web bookmark. Toolbar item. Online multiplayer. Monster Hunter. Visited. Link. List 3. Link. Link. Nav. Visit. List. List. End. Link. Link. Down. Link. List 3. Group. Visited. Link. Image. List 3 item. Link. 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 End of list. Navigation. You are
Oh,
currently in a navigation.
it meant that by navigation. I was getting excited for a second.
Visited. End.
I just want to go
End.
all the
Link.
way through.
Link.
Is it
End.
ever
End.
going
List
to...
1. List. On. Link. End of. List. End of.
Although I suppose you could probably close this just by clicking escape.
English us. List
Okay,
box
so
pop-up
I guess
collapse.
that's good
Button.
enough.
Banner. English us. List box pop-up. Main menu. Toggle button.
Okay, and
You are
my
currently
ARIA
on the
label
toggle
did
button.
work.
To select or deselect this checkbox, press Control Option Space.
So at this point, there is probably still more that could be done to make this menu more accessible, but I would say that these steps were the bare minimum.
English banner. Auto. Toolbar item. Online multiplayer Monster Hunter Wilds banner. English us. List box pop-up collab. Button.
So right, you do that, and then you would expect the next element to show up semantically to be the main menu, which is right next to it visually.
Main menu. Toggle button. You are currently
and
on a
due to
toggle
the
button.
things I
to select
did
or deselect this checkbox, press Control Option Space.
by adding the roll of button and the ARIA label describing what it is, main menu, the screen reader user can know that if they essentially click on this,
Monster Hunter Wilds
it's going to open that up. I don't know exactly why the X option isn't available then.
List link link a living world.
That being said,
currently on a link. To click this link, press Control Option Space.
Once you're in the menu, everything works perfectly fine, and pressing Escape to close the menu
Main
works.
menu toggle button banner. You are currently on a toggle button. To
So
select or deselect
I'm going to say that
Control,
fixes
Option,
the issue.
Space.
Ideally, in terms of semantics, I would have made this a button, like actually a literal button element, and that would have automatically been more semantic, and the screen readers and keyboard only users, I'm pretty convinced things would have worked better that way, and I might actually test with that in a second to either confirm or deny if that's true. But if you cannot use a button, the alternative is to add appropriate labels and aria roles to it and things like that. And in this case, role button and aria label describing what it is by saying it's the main menu was a pretty quick solution to essentially turning a div into a button. And there might be other reasons why it's a div. Sometimes things just have to be a div if you want to design them the way that they need to be designed. But if you're going to do that, you can essentially correctly turn a div into a button by following those steps. And if even if that's not the most ideal thing to do accessibility wise, it is good enough in many cases. And I think this would be one of those cases where essentially turning a div into a button would drastically increase the level of accessibility on this site, especially for something as important as the main menu is. The way it is right now, the main menu is now accessible to um, screen reader users.
VoiceOver off.
Yeah, at least for screen reader users, and yeah, and it fixes it for tab users too. Or at least theoretically, I'm definitely able to tab on it. It's at least the first step to fixing it for tab users. There's probably JavaScript you would want to write so that when doing enter or I suppose on a Mac return, it would open that up. But yes, you can turn a div into a correct and proper button given additional syntax on the div, which by default on the site was not present, but if added would make it, if not equally accessible, then at least accessible enough to be usable by anyone who might want to use this through methods other than directly clicking on it. With that said, I am a little bit curious, and I'm going to be entering into my dev tools again here. What if I did turn this into a button? I'm probably going to completely destroy. Well, actually, first of all, um, I just want to be sure it's semantic. I'm pretty sure it's semantic to add pretty much anything. I'm going to read the Stack Overflow thread because I'm thinking perhaps one reason is that because of the complexity of the element design wise, which I guess really all you would need is putting spans inside. So, which a span and a div is so similar that this might actually answer that. Okay, so at least according to this answer, it would not be semantic if it's a div. Does the same apply to span? Because I imagine it would. Huh. At least according to this, span inside of a button is actually acceptable, but not div, which is very interesting because you can essentially turn a span into a div. Um, but yeah, so that would be enough for me to at least go ahead and test with this. What happens if I turn this into a button and I get rid of a lot of the additional syntax I had? So no more tab index, no more area label. I might keep the area label main menu. And then obviously I get rid of roll button because it is literally semantically a button right now. So now it is literally a button with 3 spans. I am curious what the behavior is going to be in this situation. Huh. maybe we did want that tab index there. Um, Okay, off the top of my head, I'm not totally sure, but I'm gonna at least turn VoiceOver back on and see how that works out now that that's a button. Or Command F5. I keep on doing VO F5.
VoiceOver on Chrome. Online multi heading left Monster Hunt heading level 1 visited heading level heading end of banner main menu button English us list main menu button.
Yes.
You are currently on a button. To click this button. End of banner main menu English us main menu button.
So it finds it, but it doesn't work. Okay, so for reasons beyond my immediate understanding, it does appear that having it be a div was the better option overall. But the div should have the additional semantics that I was specifying earlier to complete the package, essentially. I am actually a little confused about why it being a button isn't working. Is there some deeper JavaScript going on that's breaking
Keyboard
things if
brightness
it's a button?
dimmer. You are currently VoiceOver off.
Oh, okay. So probably there's JavaScript expecting it to be a div and not a button, and that's what's messing with this. Because it doesn't work at all anymore. I don't have access to the full code base of the site, only what I can see in the browser. But yeah, so if I were to build this from a fundamental drawing board perspective, I would attempt to make this a button with 3 spans inside of it, which, at least from my Googling, is considered semantic if it's a span and only spans inside of it, which it looks like is all that's directly inside of the button as children. If it can't be a button and it has to be a div, then add the additional semantics such as roll button and area label so that the screen reader can see it. Tab index so you can tab over it, and JavaScript so that keyboard interactions will actually open it in the same way that click will. That's what I would do with that menu. I guess with that said, I'm going to go back to the home page and continue going down a little bit, just seeing what's going to happen with the screen reader, see if anything else comes up. I'm already streaming slightly longer than I was gonna. I'm probably gonna stream like 5 more minutes. And between the last stream and this stream, I think that'll be a decent stress test to Option F5.
VoiceOver on Chrome. Monster English main menu button. You are currently on a button. To click this button, press Control Option Space.
Oh. It actually didn't even occur to me until right now. Is this one of those sites that doesn't fully reload the page? Because I bet if I refresh the page, that's not going to be a button anymore. Since I changed it into a button.
MonsterHunterWilds.com. Website web content busy. Web content. ARIA label menu. Google search. ARIA. Button. Ink. Main. Wild. Ink. Banner. Banner. English us. List box. End of. Banner. Main.
Yep, there we are back to
currently on the main. Monster. Wild. Logo under. Monster. Available. List 3. PX. End of list. 800. YouTube play. Visited. List 6 items. Link. 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 End of list. Follow us. List 1 item. List 1 item. List 4 item. Link. Link. Unlabeled link. End of list. End of list. link, you scroll, end of, main, def, important notice, sure, important notice, end of, list 1, visited, end of list, end, important notice, definition list 2, important notice, churn, important notice, you are, end of, list 1, visited, end of list, end of definition, end of list, 2 of 2, you are current, visited, link, March 10, 2025, currently known issues, end, late, link, list, most epic, best trailer, image, best, end of list, list 1, number, button, group, end of list, list 2 items, unlabeled image, number, you are unlabeled, end of list, you are currently on a list, inside of web content, heading level 3, link, number complete, heading level 3, end of list, unlabeled image, number, you are currently on an unlabeled image, to click this link, press Control, Option, Case.
It looks like both of these are unlabeled images. I would definitely look into that.
End of list. Heading level 3. Link. Number complete this visited.
Right.
Link. Link. Number heading level 3. News. You are currently on a heading level 3 inside of web content. To exit this web area, press Control, Option, Shift, up arrow.
Sliders are notoriously hard to build for screen readers, so let us consider this the slider segment of the video. And I might be going for a little bit more than 5 minutes longer, depending on what happens. And in case anyone's curious what exactly it is I'm drinking, it is Gamer Seps. I'm not endorsed or affiliated with them in any way. I just think they're a good beverage. This is a caffeine-free flavor. I'm not drinking caffeine at 10:20 at night. Granted, tomorrow is not a work day for me. Nonetheless, I don't tend to drink caffeine this late at night. So this is one of the caffeine-free flavors. I'm drinking it just because it tastes good. But worry not, I also have water. I am not only a Gamer Seps drinker. I too drink water. In my special edition VR chat, I don't know how well this is going to come through, but my special edition VR chat cup, which is actually very high quality. For anyone that might watch this that likes VR chat, if these ever come back in stock and you can get one, I actually recommend it. They're really good. Okay, with that said, let us enter the carousel segment of the stream. This might go for a couple of seconds. This might go for a couple of dozens of minutes, depending on how this turns out. I have had many experiences with carousel and screen readers. But I am not afraid. I will trudge along and see what will happen.
Link. Number complete the survey and received. Visited. Link. Number proof of a hero trait. Link. Number get amazing items. Link. Number transferring open beta tech. Link. Number link. Number PS5. Link. Number link. Number join us on December. Heading level 3. The fates of a people and nature in Heading level 2. 6 items. Story. Level 1. Story. Link. Number join us on December 19. 6 a.m. PT/2. Heading level 2. 6 items. Story. Level 1. Story. Level 1. Link. Link. Number Monster Hunter What? Link. Number PS5 register. Link. Number Bent. Link. Number
All
trans.
right,
Link.
so
Number get amazing items like the monster. Visited. Link. Number proof of a hero trailer 2025.02.27. You are currently on a link inside of web content. To click this link, press Control, Option, Space. To exit this web area, press Control, Option, Shift, up arrow.
okay, so I guess what I'll say, nothing is breaking. Every item in the carousel is accessible. It might be slightly confusing that the buttons aren't being utilized in this situation, but it works. And honestly, when you're dealing with carousels, that's pretty much my qualification. Carousels and screen readers are very hard. So I am going to give props to the developers that they did in fact build a screen reader that is perfectly accessible, or that they built a carousel that is perfectly accessible for screen readers. Other than the minor complaint of visually the buttons not being useful in this situation, nothing is breaking. Everything is accessible. Everything is visible when it needs to be. So this is one of the situations where the carousel segment of the stream is seconds and not dozens of minutes. Because there have been situations where I've spent more than a half hour talking about carousels and screen readers. This is not one of the sites where I will be doing that.
Link. No, link. 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 Number. Link. Link. Number join us on December 19th. Heading level 3. The fates of a people and nature entwined. At the several years. Empty group. Nada recounts how his village was empty group. You are. The hunter is assigned to one of the units tasked with investigating the White Wraith and rescuing Nada's people known as the Keepers. You are currently on a text element inside of web content. To exit this web area, press Control, Option, Shift, up arrow.
The empty group makes me wonder if they're using BR tags to separate text. I'm going to look into that because I'm not certain if that's what they're doing, of course, until I look at the code. But that's often the case when a screen reader says empty group a lot when you're going through text, is that they opted to use BR tags instead of P tags, which is not the best semantics. But we'll see. We'll see in a moment. I would rather just get through the rest of the page and revisit this section rather than close VoiceOver again.
Heading level 2, 6 items. Introduction. Level. Heading level 3. Dynamic, ever-changing heading level 3. A wild and unrelenting new front. Dynamic, ever-changing environments. Empty group. You play as a professional monster. Empty group. Empty group. You are current. Empty group. Empty group. Empty group. Experience the most evolved action and improved. Empty group. Heading level 3. Heading level 2. The hunter is assigned to one of the units tasked with Chrome is heading level 2, 6 items. Introduction. Level 1. Introduction. Level 1.
All right.
When unlabeled.
VoiceOver off. We synced up. All right. My computer is seriously struggling, so I don't see anything else that looks like it's going to be terribly big of a deal for a screen reader. I've already made my commentary on these titles and the way I think they should be. Now I'm curious, is my BR tag theory correct? I think it is, because all of this is one P tag. Yeah, so oftentimes, and this is one of many reasons why you should not separate text and BR tags like this, if you want to be as semantic as you can be, is because screen readers will read this as empty group in between each paragraph. And I put that in quotes because these aren't really paragraphs in any semantic sense. The way that this should be done is every one of these should be its own P tag. It is problematic and confusing for screen reader users when you choose to separate tags with BR tags. It's a very easy mistake to make because visually speaking, it can look exactly the same as using separate P tags, but it's not the same. And many tools and assistive technology, such as screen readers, will very much take notice of the fact that it's not the same as using separate P tags. And that's why we didn't see that in between the H3 and the P, is because this much is semantic. So there isn't going to be any empty group glitch here. Whereas if you just have one P tag and a bunch of plain text separated by BR tags, because this isn't semantic, screen readers will understandably not know exactly what to do with that. And this is not the correct way of entering text into a page. So I thought I was just worth mentioning. It's not necessarily the biggest deal in the world because it doesn't break anything. It doesn't stop it from working. And so many sites do this that, quite frankly, the majority of screen reader users are probably used to it, but that's not necessarily a reason to say that it's acceptable to lay out your HTML in this way. So that would be one useful note for viewers. Do not do this. If you see a site that's using BR tags in this way, they are doing so in error, and it is objectively wrong and incorrect to code your HTML in this way. And what you saw just earlier on the screen readers where it said empty group for no reason, that is why. I only know that because I've used screen readers enough to recognize like empty group. Oh, they're probably using BR tag. So I know that that's what that means. If they're the newer screen reader user, they're going to get very confused about that. And that is a confusion that should ideally be avoided. And the way to avoid that is quite simply use P tags. Every one of these paragraphs should be its own P tag, and BR tags are not intended to be used for this purpose. As a general rule of thumb, if you're using more than one BR tag in a row, you're doing it wrong. I don't believe I've ever seen a valid case of using two BR tags in a row, outside of like quick and dirty testing purposes of code you're going to replace later before launch. In the context of an actual launch site, this is not something I would like to see personally. That is my thought and criticism on that. B, dual BR tags is not a replacement for properly using P tags. Um, Even though it looks the same visually, assistive technologies will not treat this the same way as they will treat proper syntax with P tags. And in that way, it is objectively wrong to code a site in this way. Even if it's not the biggest deal in the world, it's definitely something that should be kept in mind. This will fail certain accessibility standards. If they were to go through an audit, depending on how accessible the website needs to be. Very worth keeping in mind in that context. With that said, I think that is now pretty much everything I've had to say. My keyboard camera also keeps on going in and out. I'm gonna need to troubleshoot that as well. I am gonna be ending the stream on this note, but there is another site that I'm a little bit interested in. And also, I never did get around to the Kindle Fire segment. I haven't forgotten. I'm just not going to do that tonight. However, there is a site I had open, cid.capcom.com. I am interested in this site. I've never heard of this service before, so I guess I'm going to learn a little bit about what Capcom ID is. Yeah, and actually, I'm curious enough. B- 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 before I end the stream, to open VoiceOver one last time. Well, I guess first off, keyboard accessibility. Definitely doesn't seem to do focus targets so well at first glance, but that might be something I'll look into more and change my mind on. In any case, VoiceOver one last time.
VoiceOver on Chrome. Capcom ID vertical line A unified account for Capcom's games and web services. End banner. Main. Heading level 1. The page article. The page may be temporarily unavailable, or it may have been moved or deleted. You are currently on end article. End main. Footer. Copyright sign Capcom CO. End footer.
That is definitely not what I was expecting the screen reader to do.
link, Capcom ID, end of banner. You are main. You are current heading level 1, main. You are currently on a main, inside of a free heading level 1, article. The page of end banner. Link, end of main, heading level 1, article. The page may be temporary article. You are currently on an article.
At first glance, I literally have no idea what's going on with the screen reader and this particular website. This is definitely going to be worth investigating further.
The end footer. You are currently on a footer. Link, comma, http, copyright sign end of footer. You are currently on a footer. Inside of the frame. To exit this web area, press Control, Option, Shift, up arrow.
Looking over things that exist but are not visible. If I were to give a guess.
Up. Capcom art heading level 2 to resolve. Art Capcom link Capcom ID vertical line error. Capcom ID vertic banner. Link end of banner. Link end of banner main. You are heading level main. End of banner. Link Capcom ID. End of banner. Main. You heading level main. End of link.
So 2 Capcom sites in a row where I'm having trouble accessing the hamburger menu. That's literally all I wanted to do. All I wanted to do was to see if I could get to that hamburger menu with my screen reader in an easy way.
VoiceOver off.
VoiceOver off, and I'm going to keep it off for the rest of the stream because I am very close to being done. But function F12. I want to take a look at this. I want to see what's going on here. All right. Once again, they are using a div in place of a button without using roll button. I just want those tabs open that I had earlier just for reference. I'm basically just going to quick copy Mozilla's code right here over this button. Or this not button, this div that acts as a button, so that it will more properly act as a button. And I want to see if that makes a difference. Yeah, I have to admit, when just tabbing through the site, I'm not totally sure what's going on here. I'm gonna investigate further. I lied. I'm gonna open VoiceOver one more time.
VoiceOver on Chrome. Capcom ID vertical line A unified account for Capcom's games and web services. Google Chrome. Window. Link. Login. You are toggle button. Navigation. You are currently on a toggle link. Link. Capcom ID. Link. Login. Navigation. Link. Navigate. Toggle button. Link. Link. Banner. Link. Capcom ID. You are currently on the link.
Fixed
to click this link, press Control Option Space.
Capcom's header on this website just by doing that.
Link. Navigation. Toggle button. Toggle button. You navigation. Toggle button. You are toggle button.
Okay, escaping this menu looks like it's going to be a little bit harder.
Link. Link. List. Link. End of list. End of navigate. End of banner. Main. Heading. Main. Link. Lock navigation. You are currently in a navigation. Link. Login. You are current link. Link. You are currently on a selectable text.
Unlike the other site, pressing escape does not, in fact, close this menu. It should. It should. It absolutely should. It does not in this situation.
VoiceOver off.
Yeah, and I'm going to guess just copying and pasting all of that extra semantic code on here is going to fix this issue, though.
Capcom ID vertical line. Capcom ID vertical banner. Link. Navigation. Toggle. Link. link, list, link, guide, list, toggle button, navigation, toggle, end of list, toggle button, end of list.
Yep.
Toggle button.
There
you are
we
currently
go.
on a toggle button.
I would
to
at
select or
least
deselect this checkbox. Capcom ID vertical line A unified account for Capcom's games and web services. VoiceOver off.
I was at least able to adjust things well enough so that the hamburger menu can work with a screen reader. Once again, if you have to use a div as a button, bookmark this page, add this code to it. Roll button, ARIA press false, and I would also add an ARIA label to say like maybe open menu and close menu, or main menu and close main menu, something along those lines. And that's how you make those accessible. I'm going to guess that this is, given I've come across 2 Capcom sites in a row, this is possibly an issue with Capcom's own standards. Usually when these kind of things happen, it's not the fault of the developers so much as it's the fault of what the higher ups will allow the developers to do, given the time and resources that are available to them. Objectively speaking, I made their site better. Of course, I have no way of actually saving this code to their site. That would be a massive security error. I'm not going to be doing anything like that. But I have made their site semantically better, substantially, by many orders of magnitude, by adding some extra stuff, which again is available right here in the MDN. Just look up ARIA roll button. You have some great code examples right here. I would add an ARIA label on top of that. And you can properly essentially turn something that isn't semantically a button into something that is semantically a button and make it operate in all of the same proper ways. And the assistive technologies that would treat a button the way a button is treated would then treat this that way too. So I guess if there's one really big takeaway from this stream, it's probably that. That if you're going to code a button that is semantically not a button, you got to go the extra mile by adding the extra semantic code so that it will, in fact, be usable as a button. And on that note, that's probably the note I am going to end the stream on. So, I hope everybody had a great day, great evening, great afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. Oh, and there goes my camera for the keyboard again. That keeps on going in and out. I will eventually make my camera setup better. I'm kind of slowly upgrading and figuring out this whole streaming setup as I've been going over the month that I've been occasionally doing these streams. But I feel like now is a pretty good time to end this particular stream. So for anyone that may have tuned in over the past hour and 20 minutes, thank you very much. I hope you learned something. And I hope you have a great whatever it is wherever you are, as I just said. Thank you so much for watching. Most likely next stream I'm going to look into this side a little bit deeper because it brought up more questions than it did answers. But I feel like there were good lessons to be learned here in terms of code semantics and ARIA labels. Also, my camera here is going out in and out a lot, so I think it's kind of telling me my stream is time to end now. So, toodle-doo. Till next time. Hopefully it won't be 8 months before I stream again.